This is the creative power of the mind. You see, this is the creative energy of the mind. That when you become still, the creative energy will come off and create a new reality. You'll create a new dream. You'll have a daydream. You'll have a night dream. Or you'll have another experience in the world, which is the waking state and the dream state. It's the waking dream. So the mind constantly wants to create. The mind is Maya. The mind is ignorance. It's this dynamic Shakti, this dynamic power that projects. It's the projecting power. It projects the world. So it's Rajas. It's a form of Rajas. Rajas is this active energy, passionate energy, and it creates the world. So we need to overcome this. It's basically a form of desire. So we want to have our toys. Maya is our toy. So we create Maya to play. Means, why do we look to Maya to enjoy ourselves? Because we don't realize what we are. When you realize that happiness doesn't come from Maya, fleeting pleasure comes from Maya, and that in turn gives way to suffering and insecurity and confusion. And we alternate, and then we get another bit of pleasure, and we think, oh, this is not too bad actually. And then more suffering and confusion. Then you think, oh, I want out of this. And then Maya gives you a little bit more pleasure, so she leads you on. She gives you a bit more pleasure, and then you think, oh, she's not so bad. I quite like this. It's not so bad, this life. And then there's more suffering, confusion again. And then eventually you come to your deathbed and you die. You think, oh, why did I waste my whole life in Maya? And then you're reborn again, and the same thing happens again. So we have to, there are different ways through this. You find your way through this. One of the ways, basically, you need to find your way through this. You need to sit down and think and see, why do I keep on going with Maya? One of the teachings is that this Maya is all illusion. Another teaching is that nothing in Maya leads to happiness. It's all temporary. And really, really contemplate that in a calm, unagitated mind. Really contemplate that. Whenever you go for something, think, where is this actually going to take me? Where is this actually going to get me? Is this really going to help me? In the moment, you might feel like, oh, this is great. I want to think about this. I want to go there. Is it going to help? That's one thing. Really deeply contemplate. Once you start to understand that, what you'll find is this daydreaming activity, power in the mind, will lessen. It will. This is where, when I was talking about fetishes, I was saying, in a spiritual sense, we can intentionally focus on something to stop this roving aspect of the mind. And this is what I call an anchor, a breath, a mantra, focusing on the Guru, love for Guru. The other thing you can use an anchor is the present moment. Come into the present moment. Or a combination of these things that I've mentioned. But when you come into the present moment, if you connect to the body and the world around you, you start to feel a sense of well-being. And this can be nice as well. And we can use that sense of well-being as a way to bring us into the present. Slowly come into the present moment. Come into Savikalpa Sattva. Sattva means peace. Savikalpa means with objects. You come into a peaceful, calm state with all the objects coming. You just allow everything to come. But as you say, when you do that, the mind starts to roam away and create a new dream. So we need to sometimes have a focal point. Mindfulness of the breath, the mantra, something. to keep us on focus. We're going to lose the focus lots. The roaming power of the mind is going to come back, and we just gently bring it back to the present moment. And again, it all comes back to this first thing, this first principle of intuiting that you are not the body mind, and intuiting that your nature is fulfillment and happiness. And the only real, genuine fulfillment is going to be when you're abiding still as yourself. Not when you're thinking, desiring, anxious, worrying. They take you away from yourself. They distract you. They take your attention onto Maya. Whereas when you become still and the attention naturally collapses and rests in the self, that's when you become happy. And that's the only true happiness. You start to realize that all other forms of happiness are temporary and unsatisfactory. The happiness of being with somebody else, the happiness of living a nice, life in suburbia, in the city, or wherever you happen to live, or in the countryside, wherever you prefer. These mundane pleasures are not lasting. And the only real satisfaction comes from itself. And you are that. You are that bliss. You are that happiness. That's your nature. Contemplating on this deeply